I'm Pete Grupposo. I work with Manheim and NextGear Capital on the dealer sales side. So working with a team nationally that is representing our dealers on a daily basis, both from the auction side as well as the floor plan side. So recently I sat and listened to a futurist, a futurist to me is like an economist. They say a lot of things, but they don't ever have to really speak for them after the fact. There's always something there. But he said something very interesting to me and to this group. He said, years ago, we used to look at innovation and change in 10-year blocks. So if you look back and saw the change of and development of a car in a 10-year period, you'd start to see material changes. Then we started looking at things in a 5-year block. What's going to happen 5 years out? What's your 5-year plan? How are you going to transition? And he said something that was fascinating to me and honestly scared the crap out of me at the same time. He said there's too much innovation, too much technology around us for most of us to be able to even fathom what's going to happen more than 2 years down the road. So your 5-year plan, if we're going to trust that futurist, may not matter like it did in the past. It's somewhat irrelevant. And it's important to recognize that, not to say don't make one, but I think you have to have a plan that has guide points and areas you want to be, but there has to be adaptability within it. Something may change tomorrow that you didn't even have in your scope. And in the past, that change would very likely not be super material, but I think when you see trends like this and see the way consumer behavior is following those trends, how quickly people adapt. You know, I don't want to bring up a bunch of cautionary tales that you've all heard of a million times, but the taxi cab companies telling Uber we're not interested, we've got this figured out, is something that sits with me. Not because we now know with hindsight it was a bad decision, but how quickly they found out that it was a bad decision. Years ago, it would take you 5, 6, 7 years to see the company who's trying to disrupt you really get a foothold. I think disruption's happening so rapidly at this point, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes at some point because there's a new vendor knocking on your door every day. You sign a 1-year contract and something new comes out the next day, and you're like, man, I wish I could do that because there's so much change happening in our business every single day.